Hello and welcome to the DweeBros podcast, the first podcast of the year of the 2010s.
Oh.
Because then we'll be entering to 2020. Flying cars, mood rings, 2, the second one.
Your poop instantly disappears from your body.
I don't know about that one, but we're going to figure it out in the 2020s. But right now, let's enjoy the present. We're back. The podcast is back on. Luckily, the shutdown did end.
Yeah, the shutdown's over. We're now allowed to operate again.
We're allowed to come back.
Government funding is coming back in.
Trumpy dropped off the check.
The funding is back for talking about games, talking about movies and TV shows. That's what we do here. So welcome. I'm glad you're back. We were furloughed, but we do luckily have back pay. So great news.
Really
there.
Really
We've been off since Christmas. Did you guys get anything cool for Christmas of note? Any cool or do anything cool for Christmas?
I didn't do jack squat. Honestly, I got Hellblade.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I played that. Yeah, we'll get that in a minute. I got Hellblade.
Okay,
so I can look forward to that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Did you do anything cool?
Went to like 4 Christmases between mine and my fiance's family, and I got a sick Zelda fig from Devin.
Nice.
Which was awesome.
That's
it was
cool.
the were those Figmas?
Yeah, Figma.
From Twilight
Princess. Yeah, I never got those. I want some of those.
So I had the link. I got the Zelda now, so that was a really cool gift, and an old man gift that I got. My electric blanket.
Electric blanket and
awesome.
Action figures. What else do you need?
Nothing.
I think being a grown man.
Keep warm and stare at your figures. I got the Metal Gear Solid art book collection, or the art of Metal Gear Solid 1 through 4. It is the biggest freaking thing. Look it up online, and you won't. It's like the size of my body. I don't know how else to explain it. It's 2 books long. I've been going through it, but it is that was a pretty cool thing I got for Christmas. I'm trying to think of anything else. I don't know. I got everything, dude. Do you ever feel like that? Do you ever feel that way once you're older and stuff?
Yes.
You can buy stuff.
Yes.
As a kid,
Yes.
it was Christmas and stuff was please
Yes.
God, I have to wait for that to get a game or get whatever.
You're completely at the mercy of whomever you have asked to get you gifts. Now, being an adult, it's a little more difficult to find out what do I actually want, because everything you want you just buy.
You just buy as it comes out.
Yeah, that's what my dilemma this year specifically, because we all do our gift exchange amongst our friends.
Yeah.
And so when we were writing down our list of what we want, I was sitting there, I was like, I don't want jack squat.
Yeah.
So I literally wrote down, I want you guys to take the money and donate it to a charity that you choose and write a paper about it.
Yeah.
Still waiting on that paper.
Yeah, still waiting on the paper. Alex hasn't wrote it yet. Maybe next Christmas.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's that was always the time, birthdays and Christmases to get games and stuff, but throughout the year. So we have been playing some games.
Yeah.
Quite a couple I've played since Christmas time, because it's the time, it's snowing outside, it's cold.
Not really going outside much.
Yeah, that's the time. This is the time of the year I definitely play the most. Is that early January, February and stuff. Yeah. So I checked out during the break Return of the Obra Dinn. I think I showed stuff in the group chat to some of you guys about that, but it is a kind of a it's a what's the name of the genre? The freaking, I guess, adventure, or those point and click kind of games, but it's not point and click. You move around, and it has the craziest art style. It's like those old IBM. I'll put a picture on here too so you can see it, but it's like the old IBM Macintosh computers, made out of graphics, or not made out of graphics, made out of dots, dot kind of graphics and stuff. It was so awesome. What the concept of it is, you are a insurance agent, and you go on the ship, and you have this magic compass or whatever that kind of shows things that happen on the ship, and you have to find out what happened to the crew, where did they go, what happened to everybody, and you basically have to find out the names of everybody, how they died, and who or what killed them, what happened to them. And you have to be able to tell that all from just watching the scenarios in 3D, kind of moving around, and everybody's kind of in still frame. Like, they'll show a scenario, and you'll hear the audio as the action happen, but everybody's in freeze frame. And you get to see, like, all the audio and stuff happen. It is awesome. Definitely recommended. There was some parts I had to look up because it got so difficult. Because, like, there's 60 different people you have to find the name of.
Oh, wow.
And, like, they give you all the names, but you have to put a face to name is the problem. Like, you have to put it for each person. So, really love that.
How are you enjoying that? I don't think I'd have a good time with that, to be honest with you.
I got stuck and I was getting aggravated, but getting over that hump or whatever. And, like, really, what helped me, too, they have hint guides. Because I don't want to, like, look up legit because that would ruin the whole game experience if you just looked up a name.
I don't know. Sometimes you just want to beat a game.
You're just inputting stuff. So I got really far, like, as far as I could with it, and then started looking at these hint nudge guides, which was perfect for me because it was like, hey, make sure you look at this really closely because a previous chapter, blah, 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 this happened. And you go, oh, and it kind of, like, pushes you. So, played that. I didn't mention this at the beginning, but we did replace Travis with Kenny. He is... unfortunately, because of the shutdown, we had to let Travis go.
Government said, look, when it came back up, we can bring someone else in.
And Kenny's not part of the private sector, so...
It kind of worked out really well.
Yeah.
We're going to miss Travis. I think it was fun.
Yeah, but,
who knows? Maybe once now the government's back, we might be able to get him back.
We might be able to have the funds.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. But we're glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we're glad you're here as well. You have been playing kind of a newer game.
I have, and I've had it for 24 hours, roughly. I've played about 3 hours, and it has been the most intense 3 hours.
And that game is
Resident Evil 2.
Okay, right on.
So, I got the collector's edition. I brought with me the really awesome statue that they give with it of Leon, which is really cool looking.
That is awesome.
I was a little worried about that because I didn't know, like, Resident Evil has
And how much was this $200?
It was $200.
But it's
Resident
a nice
Evil
statue.
has kind of been infamous for goofy, like, collector's edition things, like getting Leon's jacket for $1,000 and things like that.
Did you get that one? Did you?
This statue is sick. It is really neat looking. I'm very, very impressed by it. It came with a really cool, like, art book that was stylized as, like, a classified document of the Raccoon City incident kind of thing. It came with DLC for a couple weapons. It came with the original soundtrack, which I haven't done. I kind of want to experience the game.
Yeah, I like
once
to do it
through the new way,
and then listen to it.
And then there's 2 playthroughs with Leon and Claire. So for the second one, I'll put on like the old stuff and compare it. But
I feel like that soundtrack would be something you play at Halloween in the background. Like, do you actively listen to the Resident Evil soundtrack?
No.
During the game, that'd be something.
But so like they took out music at some parts and like the save room music, which a lot of people like are really fond of, including myself. And that's on the original soundtrack. So I'm excited to go through the second campaign and play that. So in my first 3 hours of this game, last night I picked it up for about 30 to 45 minutes, and it was dark outside, and it was just like, it's one of those games for me, and I'm not usually like that. Like, I played Dead Space when we all played in the dark on a projector and everything.
But the graphics are too good now.
The graphics are, gosh, they're good. Like you were talking before we started the podcast that, like, the zombies, when they move, like, you can see their hair sway, you can see, it's very gory and graphic-y, and it's just, it's nuts. So, it takes a lot out of me to play this game. Yeah. And, but it looks freaking great, and it plays really smooth. I'm a big fan of the over-the-shoulder. I like the way they did the remake of the first one, where they have the claustrophobic camera angles. But this game is like, you are crammed enough as it is inside of the police station with the cramped hallways and something I'm going to get into a little bit.
Do you think it was a good call to make it over the shoulder versus the static?
I like it. Yeah. I like it a lot. And I think for as good as they made the game look, like, for sure.
Yeah. I think it works out. I think it's a good blend of that.
The old game in a static? I haven't played any of the Resident Evil
games. The old ones, the ones on PlayStation 1 and the Resident Evil 0 on GameCube, they all had a static camera. So you'd come into a room and you couldn't move the camera around.
Yep.
You would just have to
I know that.
You would round a corner and the camera would cut, and it would come to a new
hallway or something, or
which
whatever.
made you, one, feel really claustrophobic. Two, you cannot see
what's coming up.
Specifically, there are some hallways that you walk in the door, and the camera is facing you.
Yeah,
head
you walk
on.
towards the camera.
So you see the door and you and nothing else, and so you have to walk towards the camera. And I mean, there's windows and things can come in the windows and everything, but
so. 2, was it originally supposed to be played in static, or was it over the shoulder?
It was static. It was like the same.
Static.
Oh,
so this remake had it over the shoulder, more like Resident Evil 4 kind of started.
That's good.
Kind of that thing.
That's awesome.
So some people were like, should they have? Because when they remade 1, they made it in that same style, that kind of static or whatever. Well, this one they decided to do. I think it was a good call because everything I've seen from it looks gorgeous, and I think it just really. I don't know, gave them more freedom.
I guess if they wanted to be like those people, they could have made like an option to play either one. That makes sense.
They did announce that they're going to... I don't know if you have to beat the game or what. Some way you can unlock the old polygon skins.
Oh, I think that's free DLC coming later.
Yeah, so that's neat. That's a neat little callback. My curious question about that is, do they change the skins of the enemies, like the zombies and
I think
like
it's
that.
just them. Probably.
That would be cool if they changed if they kept the environment looking cool and the enemies and stuff. But it's gonna look goofy either way. Like you looking all polygon and the zombies looking like real life people.
Resident Evil 2 was the first game. My cousin, at the time when the PS1 had just come out, got a PS1 and Resident Evil 2, and I'll never forget going into his room at my aunt's house. And we all kind of crammed in there. Or the guys of the family went in there and was like, hey, this game's kind of scary. And I wasn't even allowed to go. And I didn't want to go in there. I was just like, I saw the cover of Resident Evil 2, and it looks terrifying. If you ever look at that old PS1 cover, I was like, I don't even want to look at it. I wasn't even a kid going, let me in. I was just like, no. I'm scared what's in that room. So, that always has held, a scary, thing for me, Resident Evil 2. Yeah. But I was thinking today about Resident Evil 6 specifically. Because that was such a giant bomb. That just was not true to what the series was. It was more actiony and whatever. And man, they have come back to back and saved, I think, the series between 7 and this. I was just like, wow, they really nailed it. Because people love this one, people loved 7 a ton. So it's
7 was kind of I remember that was this was
yeah, you can breathe again. It's wow, they found
themselves again. It was first person, which is nuts, because that's never happened.
Yeah.
And it's neat that Resident Evil started with, the fixed camera. They went to the over-the-shoulder. Then they went to first person. They had a freaking Resident Evil game in VR, which I tried to do. Too spooky.
Too scary.
Not do it.
But the fact there is one, and it's the whole game.
Yep. It's too immersive.
Good job. Good job.
I'm glad they didn't go the VR way with 2, and I'm glad that they didn't because I like the over the shoulder and I like the way that this game feels. I feel like if they would have went over or with the VR and the first person for this, it wouldn't have felt as true to the original one. The game is freaking hard. So like a lot of culture and stuff, like movies and stuff, you shoot the zombie once in the head, it's dead. You can shoot these things, and I'm on normal, regular mode. You can shoot these things 3 and 4 times in the head, and they fall down and get back up. So the strategy that I've seen people adapting to, and what I've kind of been doing, is try and get their legs off in 1 or 2 shots.
Yeah.
And make them crawl around. Yeah. And then run around them. The problem with that is they stay.
Yeah.
The good thing about that is you're conserving your ammo. Now, I'm going to get into a little spoilery stuff if that's okay. So, eventually in the game, if you've played Resident Evil 2 before, you know that Mr. X, the tyrant of this game, he is known for spontaneously appearing and scaring, and
that kills me. There was a game, just a little tangent, called the Prince of Persia series. There was a monster in that game that would show up randomly and chase you, and even that was that was a Prince of Persia game, and there was this little goofy demon thing kind of chasing you. That terrified me, so I could only imagine. I saw footage of this, and I was just like, no thanks.
So the really sucky thing about this is that it's awesome that they did it. It's awesome for, like, the gameplay. It's terrible for my blood pressure and my heart. He doesn't, it appears at least, he doesn't phase through walls. He's actively wandering the police station and hunting you down.
Yeah.
He's attracted to you shooting the gun and running.
So
sucks. If you're shooting, from what I understand, you pull the trigger and he's coming to where you pulled the trigger. If you're on the west side of the police station and he's on the east side and you guys take the same path, you're taking the path to get out and he's coming to you, you're going to run into him.
Yeah.
And I just can't, like, it's terrifying when you walk into a room and there's a liquor on the wall.
Yeah.
And
well,
you're like, what am I going to do?
Some of these rooms are dark. Like
most of the rooms are dark.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Like, it seemed like the footage I've seen, he's got that flashlight. Like
there are some reprieves from the darkness, but those are usually, for instance, the library.
Yeah,
it's very well lit.
Yeah,
I walked in there and there's a zombie posted up by the staircase. You need to go down to get a key item. There's a zombie chilling in the middle of the room eating somebody.
Yeah,
you're like, you cannot escape the horror in this game. And it's terrifying. And another little spoilery thing, the zombies will, like, procedurally generate. They can wander into the police station from windows that they tear through.
Yeah.
And you can board them up and stuff, but there is not enough ammo in the game to kill everything.
Yeah.
And enemies will apparently procedurally generate and wander into the... So you could go down a hallway, clear it, and need to go back that way, and you could, on your way back, be running from Mr. X, and the zombies have wandered in there from breaking... It is almost too much for my heart to handle, but what a great job they did.
I think they nailed it.
It is so realistic, and I'm very impressed. As somebody who grew up playing these games with my stepdad, I beat 3 before he did.
Yeah.
Like, I watched him play 2.
And I love the character designs. Like, even looking at this, it kind of reminds me of looking at, that original, even on the PS1.
Yeah.
I just love that design of Leon Kennedy and the freaking police outfit. Oh, it's awesome.
And it's nuts. Like, you start out the game, and this is maybe a little more spoiler stuff, but you start out, like, going to a gas station, and Leon's like, something's wrong here, there's blood on the ground. So he goes in.
Is that similar to the PS1? Or,
yes,
or did they tweak some stuff?
They tweak some stuff, for sure. But you get to this gas station, you come in, and you go in the back, and you see the scene that they did from the first trailer. You see a guy, like, he's got a zombie handcuffed, almost, and the zombie turns around and takes him down, and it's your fault that this happened, because you're like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, I got this. And he turns around to look at you. And when he turns around, the zombie gets him. Yeah. So when you very first start the game, you don't know that Leon has a weapon on him. So you wander into this, and you know something's about to happen. And you go into this stupid, dark convenience store. Somebody's already bit, and now you're going into this back room, and there's a zombie in there. And it was like, okay, it's a deep breath of relief when you realize Leon has a weapon. And you run out, and then you actually meet Claire, there, and you guys take off into the city, and you're going into the city, which is a terrible idea. I don't know why you would do this. You get there, and a semi-truck barrels through, blows up your car.
That. I did watch that.
That's how you have to run through the city and get to the police station, and you're just... There's zombies everywhere.
But you're very happy with it.
Yes. I'm very impressed. I'm very happy so
We will
far.
be doing a hangout for it in a week or so, a couple weeks or whatever.
Nice.
Getting some of us together to play that. So,
but I'm excited.
I'll be playing like this because the sun's coming in lately and stuff. Not scared or anything.
I honestly, like, being 100% true. I know this makes me a sissy or whatever, but I'm going to try and play as much of that game as I can when the sun's up.
Yeah, when the daylight.
Because it's too scary, and especially before I go to bed. Like, it's too. I told Brittany last night that I have to de-spook from the game before I go to sleep. I was like, I don't know what I need to do. I don't know if I need to turn on My Little Pony and be a brony for a little bit to eye bleach, but the game is terrifying. So far, I give it 10 out of 10.
Nice.
I haven't beaten it yet. I'll let you know like later on and stuff. But for now, I'm loving it. It's terrifying.
Well, that's good to hear. Good to hear. I'm glad. There's also an interesting article. Check it out if you can. It was on Polygon or something, and it's from an expert from a book coming out soon about the development of all these Resident Evil games. Mm-hmm. And Resident Evil 2 actually had to be rebooted. It was a failure when they first were making it, and they actually rebooted it. So check out that Polygon article. Really, a lot of stuff I didn't know. Like, they had to go back and, like, one interesting tidbit was, it's on 2 disc. Mm-hmm. The game, they basically like planned that the game would all fit on 1 disc, and it does. So why did they have to put on 2? Because the audio, they didn't really take that into consideration. They thought they were okay, but it ended up like ballooning throughout the process, the audio stuff, and that put it over the 1 disc limit. So both campaigns actually fit on 1 disc. It's just the audio made it bigger.
Speaking
and stuff,
of that.
But they were kind of pissed about that because that was more manufacturing. Like the cost went up. They were scared, but that ended up selling great back then. But
yeah, one last little tidbit: the audio in this game is nuts. Like the way the sounds and stuff. There's a lot of ambient noise, and they do a really good job of like keeping you on your toes. They're like some of the puzzles that you have to solve, which that's another thing that they really stayed true with the series with is the puzzles in this game. Some of the puzzles, like you can be attacked while doing the puzzles.
Is there moments that, like, because I had this with Spyro, I would see a new level that I definitely remember in my head, like how they laid it out. So it was very...
Yes.
I loved just taking that in. That was almost like a second part of the like gameplay experience. I was like, oh my gosh, let's see. How did they do that? And you're almost like kind of like checking things out again and like going back. But like, is there parts like that for you? Like already, like how did they do? Oh, I love how they did that and stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely, it's
awesome.
It's very awesome the way that they have done this. I'm very happy.
Cool. Jacob, what have you been playing?
Man, it's kind of nice. I've gotten back into Spider-Man. I've been able to kind of pick that back up after no-lifing that and 100%ing it. Picked up the DLC, jumped right back in, and I'm just like, man, this game's great.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it's my game of the year. There's a reason why I'm.
So do you like the DLC?
I do. To me, it's worth the money. Mm-hmm. I think it's a nice little side story. It gives you a little bit more of Black Cat, which I like. I like her character in the game. I'm at the very end of it, so I'm not quite done with it yet. The only thing I think I'm really enjoying the most is that they really upped the combat in it. Yeah. So when you're playing the game, the original game, the combat's really not that hard. I think the craziest it gets is when they introduce S.H.I.E.L.D. Mm-hmm. Not S.H.I.E.L.D., what's the name? Silver Sables. Dang it. Is it S.H.I.E.L.D.?
It's the
Sable Force.
Yeah, I forgot the name.
Once you introduce Sable Force, that's when the combat's like starting to get like, okay, now I got people flying around.
That's the times I died was fighting those people.
Yeah, they said, frick that, let's up the difficulty a little bit more, and that's when Chapter 2 of the DLC, I was like, okay, this is annoying. Like, I'm starting to die a lot.
Did they add, like, different enemies?
Yeah, they added different enemies, they did different weapons. I finally went the cheap route and did quad damage as my suit, and I just, like, boom. Because I used to run around, right when you beat the game, you get a thing called Equalizer. One shot kills everything.
But you get hit.
If I get hit. But I'm pretty good at not getting hit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, that's kind of a bonus. I don't get hit a lot. You get hit a lot. And so I was like, I have to go quad damage, and I have to just pony it out. So, it's really nice. Again, that game, man, looks so freaking great.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
God. Yeah. It's so good. I wish they put a Mary Jane level in the freaking DLC. I was ticked.
Yeah, that I didn't. They weren't bad, but I flew through them. That and Miles stuff by the end. I just liked really swinging around as Spider-Man. And
I want to do that. I was constantly. I was like, come on, guys! I paid for this. Like, I didn't want another one. I don't like. I get
Mary Jane just walking through.
They're trying to change it up, but I don't need that. I need give me more Spider-Man.
It felt just like I think I mentioned this on a previous podcast. How I felt about those parts in the base game was. It's like in Sonic when they have you do some platforming stuff. It's like I want to go fast. That's all I want to. I just want to go fast. I don't want to stop. Why are you making me stop? And that's how I felt with.
They're like, hey, look, we got to stretch. We need another 20 minutes of gameplay.
I understand they're trying to mix it up, but I was rushing through them by the end of them.
No, I don't blame you. I was the same way. But it's good. Again, I can't argue against it. I've really enjoyed it. The suits you get are really cool. I hate the fact you have to 100% the DLC in order to get the last suit of each DLC. So I'm like, you're making me actually try.
Yeah.
So I 100% the first one. I did not 100% the second one. I started the third one. I'm back on the second one trying to 100% it.
Yeah,
because I kind of want the anime suit. It's like an anime-ish kind of style.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I was like, I kind of want that. So I want to go back and do that.
What else have you been playing?
Smash Brothers has been freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
God, it's such a good Smash Brothers game.
We were playing today.
Yeah, we were playing this morning.
I was just going to say, I actually have not played that in a while. I don't know.
I'm sleeping on it.
Well, I will explain why here in a second.
Okay.
But, actually,
makes sense. I just have, like, online, I got all the characters unlocked. I'm currently I'm almost done with everybody's classic modes. I have, like, 2 more left. So after that, I need to beat the story mode.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's going to take up a lot of my time, so I think that's why I'm doing it last. Surprisingly enough, I'm only, like, 15 or 18 hours into beating everyone's classic modes. So that actually didn't take as long as I thought it would.
Are you interested in collecting the spirit things? Because
No.
there's thousands. There's so many of them. I was just like, that would be cool, but this is something I don't know. I never see the end of.
I want to beat World of Light. I want to get the other fighters. I think what I'm finding the most enjoyment out of is playing online. Because for me...
Did they fix the lag? I remember there was lag.
No, I haven't had really many issues.
Maybe it's better now.
Yeah.
I had some issues, but...
No, I'm not really struggling. I got pretty good internet too, so from my end, it's kind of just if I get a really laggy match. It's
I knew it was
sucks.
going to be kind of scary though when the last direct they said we highly suggest the wired LAN adapter. You have to buy an additional thing for the Ethernet thing for the dock, and I was like, uh-oh.
I can't wait for the Switch Pro to come out one day or something like that.
I feel like that's going to happen. From that one
They're going to have to upgrade it. I think Nintendo realizes what they have. Like, oh, this is really good. Now let's actually make it better.
let's make a legit thing.
Yeah, but man, as far as a solid Smash Brothers game goes, I put this one above Melee in terms of technical skill because for me, Melee, the reason it's got some technical is because there's a lot of exploits in the game.
There's exploits, yeah.
It wasn't made in that direction. Mm-hmm. This game is made to be competitive, and so the air dodges and like all that kind of stuff that they put in there wasn't for the intention of like, hey, we're going to even the playing field.
Without exploits, this is the most competitive one.
Yeah.
Like,
I argue that wholeheartedly. Yeah. People will sit there and say, like, Jacob, you're a moron, Melee. I don't care.
I think there'll always be that because it gets so crazy.
Yeah.
It can get so many, like, the levels of it can get like a freaking Dragon Ball Z fight when you watch some of those guys.
It's insane because they're like, like that.
Yeah.
But with this one, I'm just like, you can come into battle with any character, and as long as you know them, and you know what they can do, it's a fair fight. Don't care how strong they are. You can be Ike and have the highest critical.
Did they nerf King K. Rool yet?
No, he's still pretty OP.
I love playing as King K. Rool against these guys because it's
bullcrap, dude. It's so annoying.
Or Ridley with that one attack.
God, screw Ridley. I have learned playing this morning. Out of all the characters I use, I am a heavyweight main. I love using heavyweight characters. King Dedede, Ganondorf, Ike. I like using all those guys. Bowser. There's only 2 characters I will use that's not a heavyweight, and that's Ness and that's Luigi. Those are the only 2 people I'll use. But other than that, I want to be a big guy. I want to kind of own the map. That's how I do it. Dish out the damage. Or poach. I like poaching.
I don't really have a main. I kind of float between Young Link and like Marth.
I like Young Link.
Young Link and Marth, and I feel like a lot of people might. I think they're really good starter kind of characters, maybe. But I want to maybe get an annoying Ridley or K. Rool as my main.
You know what I annoy people with? Snake.
Oh my god, screw you.
I pick big maps when it's my turn.
And then you probably lay bombs.
I lay bombs. I lay the trap mines. I'm getting good at, you can, if you can get above people and hang out above them, like just keep jumping around, you can drop the down B mines on top of them. Those are the ones you control detonate.
Wow, we're going to be the
beat
most
them up a little bit
people
and then bomb them.
It's that's the whole point. Like, you figure out how you can be obnoxious.
Yeah. And I think every character can be obnoxious if you really learn there.
Everybody. I mean, even Luigi, his up B is super annoying because it has a high critical hit. Yeah. So next you hit them, they have 50% and they're flying off a map for some reason. It makes no sense.
Or you're like, when we were playing the other day when I did Game & Watch, and I kept getting 9s or whatever, and it just was, I was just so chancing annoying. It. I was chancing it and like, if I chance it, I might be able to take him out.
We played this morning, I was in Cineroar, and there's a trophy, or like not a trophy, but one of the little
achievement things
you get. Is you have to do 40 damage, 40% with one hit.
He did
in Cineroar, and I did it. It turns out his down B its belt activates, and then he gets a high, it boosts his damage.
Mm-hmm.
So I did an over smash. I did like 40-something damage. And one stinking hit. I was like, my God, that's ridiculous. So you're telling me all I have to do is parry and then over smash somebody? That is insane.
I actually, the match he was in Cineroar, and this is what I love about this game, is you can sneak in and, like, if you're smart, you can win just about any match. I ran in between him and the guy he was attacking. They both had high damage, I had high damage, and I was Crom. And he threw the guy against the ropes. Have you seen that move?
His overbeat.
Yeah. His overbeat. And I ran in the middle of his attack off of that and parried. I ran right in the middle of when he was about to hit him. I parried and killed them both.
Oh,
and
wow.
won on the last
That's
stop.
awesome.
But the game's really good at, like, we have a friend who's very good at the game, and he's really good with Mewtwo, and I'm not really good with Yoshi. And we were duking it out earlier because I kept perfect shielding him. Mm-hmm. I kept dodging and perfect shielding, and I came pretty. He still beat me, but like that match is not nearly as competitive in the last.
I wish we could have recorded this somehow, but me and Travis were talking about this, but it really clicked for us. Esports, like I don't really watch, I don't keep up, whatever, but I loved watching Jacob and Devin play, because Devin, as we've said before in this podcast or whatever, is really good. Jacob's really good, but like seeing you two go at it, it was like Pikachu and whatever his name was.
He was Pikachu.
I was Ness.
Pikachu and Ness.
Yeah.
That was the funnest. Like I was just glued to the television watching
And he is good.
He is.
Like honestly, like
it was very close.
I'm not great. I'm like I can play. But like he is phenomenal.
Yeah, watching you two go, but it was very close. It was.
It all comes down to style of play. Like I'll keep Pikachu away from me because all Pikachu can do is his B move, which is a Thunder Shock, and I can absorb that as an S. Yeah. So to me, I had the advantage. He bodied me the whole game. Literally never seen a down. What was it? A grab, hit, down B.
He fights you off the edge.
Thunder, and then
that's a level. I feel like I'm okay, very okay at Smash. The edge fights are
that's
crazy.
hard for me. I'm not good at that. I can keep people from coming back as an S. I finally down-ate somebody to death. In Smash today because I was hovering over them and they were trying to recover. And I just smacked them down in the air, and they just flew right to
He was D to D, so he was floating around, and he just...
I loved watching...
Spiked him.
Donkey on YouTube had a video where people online, he would grab his King K. Rool and jump off the edge. I think it was him or Donkey Kong, and I think both of them can do it, but go off the edge and then jump off with King K. Rool can just propel him.
Dude, it's so stupid! Oh my god!
He just grab people and take them down there. Donkey Kong, but...
It's funny. Smash is an awesome game, and I'll tell you right now, you can get anyone in the group. You can get anyone put together.
It's such a fun group game.
And just play it. It's so much fun.
Cool.
The other game I've been playing has come with a lot of regret. I started Dark Souls 2.
All right, we're back. How's this going for you?
It's hell. I mean, literally. So here's Dark Souls 1. Can't make it any crappier. And then here comes Dark Souls 2. They have cutscenes.
I feel like Dark Souls 2 is a little bit easier, though.
It's not, because for me, I feel like when I was playing Dark Souls 1, I was able to control my character.
Yeah. A
lot more. This one, I feel like I have no control. I'm hitting B. I'm trying to roll, and he's not rolling. So
do you have heavy armor on?
No, I was naked. I think so.
I could be naked. I could be not.
Whatever.
You can't tell.
I just there's just such a love-hate relationship with me in this game. So
because it's fun when you win. When you win, it's the best feeling you ever have playing a video game.
I just don't like a game with zero direction. That's my biggest pet peeve. So when you start the game, you start in this weird little grassland, whatever. You start running. And you start with fists. You don't get a weapon. Bull crap. All right? So I'm running. You can't see me because I haven't created my character yet. And I get scared by these dogs. These dogs start barking at me. So I start swinging at them because I'm I need to kill the dogs. Dark Souls. Yeah. They run away. So then I keep running. And off to the side, I see some foot tracks going up to...
Oh, I know exactly
so
where you're at.
There's a house, but foot tracks. House? I'm going to go to foot tracks. So I go up the hill. There's an ogre. Alright, I'm going to fight the ogre with my fists. So I start swinging, kills me in one shot. frick my life.
Yeah.
So I finally run in the house, and that's when the old lady talks to me, brings me back to life. I create my character. Then I go fight the ogre again.
I was about to say, if you go back to this ogre, I bet you run into some fun things with it.
Yeah, I died again. Fought the ogre again. Died again. Finally found out there was a campfire behind the room. Lit the campfire. I didn't know where to go. Because I finally went back to the ogre. Found out how to kill it. Killed it. Took forever, but I killed it.
Yeah.
But then I sat there for like 45 minutes. Like, no lie. Running up to the house, running back, running up to the house, running back. Killed the dogs, looked around the area. Didn't know where to go.
Yeah. The game gives you zero direction.
Well,
it is a style that, like, if you're into that, like, that's what was actually pretty fun about old NES and some NES and PlayStation 1. Kind of those older games is, like, you did have to pick around and, like, poke around, like, oh, that's how you do it. Nowadays, they'll give you a tutorial. They'll kind of have waypoints. You have to really be into that.
So, I finally got so
fun,
annoyed. I walked back into the house. I went to the campfire. I rested. And you know, like it kind of lights up for a moment. Mm-hmm. It lit up, and I saw there was a little cave right next to the campfire. I was like, that wasn't there before. So I went through the campfire. I did my little smoke screen, killed the little draws, what you want to call them, the stupid walking things. That was pretty easy. Then I got to the prettiest scene.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
which is Solaire. How do you pronounce it? No, not Solaire.
It's I don't know the name.
Starts with an M, I think.
I forget the name, but it's kind of the hub.
Like, yeah, it's like the hub. I get there, and I'm like,
it's awesome.
Wow, this is nice. Then I saw a well. I jumped down the well because I thought there was nowhere else to go, and I died. I haven't got to my first boss, and I have enjoyed it a little bit.
Yeah,
I
think the health system. People really dog on Dark Souls 2. It's mine and Travis's. I think some of our favorites or whatever. I kind of put Bloodborne above it, but I think that one is easier. It has a better pace of like getting you to play. I know you had trouble with that, but I think it's better than what Dark Souls was of like, where do I go? Or like, that's too hard. Yeah. But like that game, I think you get a flow a lot better.
I think the only part I hate about this game is that you don't get the flasks, you get Estus something else. And
yeah, I think that's better too, because you can later on you get more of those, and I think that's the best health system so far.
It doesn't instantly regenerate; it takes its time. So that's the part I don't like.
Yeah,
because in the SS Flask in the last game, you used it and you instantly got your health back. And this one, I use it and I'm like, oh, I need my health now. And then I'm dead. I'm like, oh, that really sucks.
It takes a little bit to load up.
I don't know. I was having some issues like with the controls. Like I said, I feel like I was hitting B and he wasn't really doing it like to the speed I want him to. It could be just I really silly suck. I don't know.
But I'm happy you jumped into it.
Yeah, sure, me too. Totally. I can't wait to fight the 6 gargoyles I keep hearing about. Because, that makes complete sense. God.
That's awesome. So I play a little bit easier game. Probably one of the most easiest games I've played in a while. Donut County.
Donut County Souls.
Donut County Souls.
Donut Souls.
It's a game that is Katamari Damacy, which was a game where you roll around on the PS2, and you guys have seen it probably, of like rolling around on a ball and you collect things as you roll.
People
and
stuff.
And soon enough you get so many things, you can roll over buildings and an entire, like, it just goes crazy. So Donut County is that same concept, but a hole. So the hole gets bigger the more you suck into it, and eventually you're grabbing buildings or grabbing whatever. This game has the funniest sense of humor in it. Everything is written, like the item descriptions, when you like suck up things at the end of the level, it shows you each item that you got, and the item descriptions are written from the viewpoint of a raccoon, because the raccoon is the one controlling the hole in each level and like sucking all of these people up in this town. And so the game starts and it's like, you've destroyed this town, like, or whatever, and it's like, what happened? And it like goes back and it shows you like how they got there, like down in this pit underneath this town. So this raccoon, right, it's the funniest thing. So for example, there was a part in there that said they had an item, like I sucked up a bowling ball, and it said it is illegal to hold this without special shoes, talking about bowling shoes, like whatever. But like some of the funniest humor in this, but it's 3 hours, it's like 2 to 3 hours long. Definitely worth checking out. Soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great game. Thanks. I want to play it on my Switch. That's
and that just came out. Yeah,
I want to play it on my Switch. I want to sit down. I might do it tomorrow. Honestly, I want to play it. I really do.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I played it on my Mac. It came to Steam on my Mac or whatever, and I just played it that way. But yeah, highly recommended. Very funny.
It's really pretty too. The art style, I think, overall is
it's
like,
cartoony. And
I was like, I like this a lot. The soundtrack, I've heard nothing but great things about.
Oh yeah, so that was a good time. It's time to go into VR. Over break, I said, you know what? It's cold outside, but it's warm in here. Bloop. And I put them on. I hadn't played the PSVR since I moved to the new place.
Mm-hmm.
But I have it all hooked up or whatever, and put it back on. And man, I played Moss. You are basically this being that helps this little rat with a sword out, and it is so crazy to like look at this thing as you're moving, because you play with the DualShock or whatever, and you're kind of controlling the mouse, and you're kind of looking behind things and can look over things, and you help it out by like grabbing things at certain points. But the animation on this is nuts. Like seeing this rat move around, and like he has a sword and he takes the sword, and like it is so much force with the sword for this little rat that it like he kind of falls when he does it. But the animation is beautiful. It's like I was sitting there just in awe, just kind of watching this on the VR. So that game is like 5 hours long. Absolutely recommended. Like the library of the PSVR, we've talked about it a lot, just me, you, and like Travis and stuff. But like absolutely worth owning a PSVR now.
You know,
and the price is down like $250 now, and it's like Moss, Deracine, I'm about to talk about next, Astrobot, like Tetris Effect, Beat Saber. It is.
Oh my gosh!
The library is growing, and it's freaking fun.
Speaking of, real quick, I know Travis isn't here, but something Travis did get while over the Christmas break was Tetris Effect.
Oh, he did.
We got to try out a little bit. Holy smokes!
Yeah. That game is incredible.
Like.
But this is crazy to me. Multiple people have said that, and now you guys. But like, isn't it just Tetris?
It's just Tetris
and a thing.
But look,
why is it in VR selling on me?
Okay, so you have Tetris, and you know how I am. I mean, my company's played 1,050 hours in Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Yeah, we talked.
I've gotten really good at Tetris.
Yeah.
So when I first put it on, I was kind of like, I was so distracted by everything that was going on around us. The music that's playing. It goes with the beat on which you're rotating tiles. Mm-hmm. It goes if you do hard drops. It plays music with it. Yeah. That is constantly in rhythm.
Oh, that's cool.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
And like you can't. I can't explain it. It was so eerie. Cause I'm sitting there. I'm just rotating a piece at this point. Like, oh, this sounds good. Yeah. And I'm just dropping a piece.
I guess you're just really sucked into the whole experience. Honestly, that's probably part of
the only way I can explain it is. Have you done meth?
You're just. I guess you're just
Have
so.
You done meth?
Dopamines.
CG Kid. The dopamine units. Dopamine units.
Like right here's meth, and then here's Tetris Effect. All right.
Oh, it's like 2,000 dopamine.
Yeah,
units.
it's like 2,000. It's like more than sex. You know.
Oh, what I mean? It's more than sex.
Yeah. So I'm just like, it just looks great. It really is interesting. I mean, he got to play a little bit. I mean, he sucks at Tetris. I mean, he can testify.
But I did not like Tetris before today. Yeah. I was trying to play Puyo Puyo Tetris on the Switch.
It was hilarious.
I was getting so frustrated. I hated it.
But put the PSVR helmet on.
He was like, here, try this. And the thing is it's like, it's so immersive, and the visuals are like really neat looking, like, and the music is themed to the level. So is the Tetris board. It's not like plain old school looking Tetris like on Nintendo or whatever. The pieces are all themed to the level, and so you start rotating, and it starts.
So the graphics are better now.
You hard drop the piece.
They managed to make a block better.
You clear rows, and it'll do like a bass drop, or it'll do like a big drum, or it'll do like a big swell, or something to go in with the music, and it's just it's really awesome. And
that's really cool.
I got Moss. I haven't played it yet. Mm-hmm. I've for whatever reason got into a VR kick lately. I got Windlands, which is a great game. Incredible. I get motion sick easy, and the VR has gotten to the point now where it doesn't make me motion sick anymore. Mm-hmm. It used to, like Resident Evil 7, kind of made me a little sick if I played too long. But Windlands is great. Beat Saber's amazing.
Oh, yeah. I played Beat Saber, too, over at you guys' house.
I want to get Astrobot, and Moss looks really good, and I have it. I just haven't played it yet.
Before you get to your next VR game, there is a part in Tetris Effect that I have to explain this changed the game completely. Back in the old days, the best Tetris you could get was a Tetris, a 5-line clear. Mm-hmm. This game said, nah, frick that, we do better now. It's a thing where you fill up your effect meter, and if you hit L2 and R2 at the same time, time freezes, and all you can do is just keep clearing lines.
Yeah.
So the Tetris game keeps going, but your tiles don't disappear until the Tetris effect ends. Mm-hmm. I got a Decto Tetris. Dodeca Tetris.
Which is like 10 or something.
Yeah, no, it was more than that. I was literally 3 lines away from clearing the whole board, which is like the ultimate. It's like an octa something Tetris, freaking frick.
It's a Tetris.
Yeah,
Tetris.
So I was like, that right there. The moment I hit L2 and R2 was like my, like when you're high, it's like my coming down moment. I was like, oh my gosh, I've peaked.
A lot of dopamine.
Yeah, just
4,000 dopamine.
Yeah, just starts going through my head like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's Tetris Effect.
Nice. So if you like drugs, check out Tetris Effect. Yeah. That's what you're telling me.
Pretty much.
So Moss, very freaking fun. Highly recommended. Deracine is from the Dark Souls people. Mm. And it's funny that the music and even the font and kind of even the voice acting reminds me of a Dark Souls game.
That's funny.
Here's the concept. You are a fairy. And the kind of the mythology of this game is that you are a fairy in this school. Listen, I'm Navi. But you're in this like school, like this kind of like boarding school for like kids, but it's all set in like the 1700s or something like that, or whatever, like 1800s. I don't know, but like these kids are in there, and you can like kind of like mess with them on like. You're trying to like help them do stuff, and they start to realize like, oh yeah, fairies here, whatever. The fairies come to visit us, and like you can like grab things and like change time and go back in time and do things, whatever, to like mess with these kids' lives for the better and whatever. And I freaking loved this. It was one of my favorites, and this actually reviewed all the way from like 4s out of 10 to like 8s out of 10s and stuff. And I had a blast with it. It was, but. I don't know what it is. Even Moss had this. Travis kind of warned it. But, like, anything that... There was no jump scares in this.
Yeah.
But anything 1% creepy or 1% spooky elevates itself to, like, the scariest thing on planet Earth of VR. I can't take it. So I loved this. But... Oh, there was one jump scare in this. That's what I was going to say. So, there's a part when you go kind of below this kind of like boarding school or whatever, and there's like bats that come out at you. It's the only jump scare in the whole game. Because nothing really moves. You're seeing kind of things almost like that Return of the Obra Dinn. Everything's kind of like frozen, and you're kind of like... Because you're this fairy that kind of goes in between time, whatever, but bats jumped out at this, and like I like visibly was probably upset when that happened. Because it was like nothing moved in that game, and then suddenly it does, and it's like... frick off. So then there's something creepy that happens towards the end. It doesn't get scary after that part, but like I'm sitting there and I'm like, Siri, turn on the lights. Like I was just like,
now.
And I found out a way to play something scary in PSVR. So I was home alone and that creepy stuff was starting to happen in the game. I pull the headset as far out as it goes. And I take the headset off, the headphones, and I listen to the music on that. And I try to make VR as least immersive as possible, and the lights are on. That's how I get through scary parts in VR stuff now. But Deracine, if you like the Dark Souls games, it's not like difficulty-wise. You're doing like puzzles and stuff. But I freaking loved it. I just like looking at stuff and like anything that's like moving or like happening in a game or whatever. Like I loved exploring this whole boarding school, and the way you move around is the warp kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I think this worked great for that, and very highly recommended. Another PSVR, like you got to pick it up.
Nice.
Beat Spyro 3.
Nice.
Interesting thing with Spyro 3, and I think I came back around, but. I had always thought like Spyro 2 was my least favorite. After playing this remake, I went, oh, this actually has some of the memorable stuff that I liked. Oh, okay, maybe I like Spyro 2 more than I thought. I think it was very hard for me as a kid. Spyro 2 is difficult. Spyro 2 was punishing as a kid. Yep. But now it's like I was having a lot more challenge with it, but it was fun. And I was getting through it. It wasn't as hard as a kid when I was a kid. I get to Spyro 3, and that was always my favorite as a kid. I replayed that multiple times, whatever. Playing Spyro 3 after playing, as an adult and playing these remakes, I kind of maybe like Spyro 2 a little bit more now. Coming back in as an adult, I think the level variety, or not the level variety, the enemies in all the older ones, you would see like a wizard and then this weird dragon thing.
Yeah.
Like you would just see the funniest weird enemies in Spyro 1 and 2 or whatever. In Spyro 3, they're all Rhinox. But they have either like a ninja suit on or their underwater scuba suit, and they're all Rhinox. They're the same, like either bigger or skinny. And I was like, oh, now that I'm an adult, it's like, yeah, there's different monsters. There's different like enemies you fight. They're not all just Rhinox, but 80%, 70% are Rhinox. So, but the skateboarding stuff still fun. You do skateboard as Spyro, and as a kid, I loved that. That's still freaking fun in this one. But I think you open up that one has different like characters and stuff you play as other than Spyro that you unlock. It's a toss up now actually between Spyro 2 and 3 for me, but great remakes. I love those and looking forward to Crash Team Racing next. Like they've knocked out of the park with the Crash remakes and the Spyro remakes. Those could have easily been rushed. And Resident Evil 2, like
all childhood
remakes, man.
This could have easily gone very wrong, and none of it went wrong. So we're very fortunate that it didn't. But Spyro 3 is fun. And the last games I've played since the last podcast, I started this probably 2 weeks ago. I got a book. I'm going to show it real quick, but it's all these old NES games. And they show, like, they have different art on them, like, showing different, like here's Spyro 2, or not Spyro 2, on NES. Like, here's Super Mario Brothers 2 and stuff on there. Yeah. Like, it's really cool, all this pixel art and stuff, and then each section is, like, talking about the game, like, oh, yeah, we had a difficult development on this, or there was only me and 2 other people that made this, or, like, this is all that, we had to make this game. But in looking at this, there was Castlevania, like on the front cover and stuff, and I was like, man, I've been wanting to play the Castlevania games. I can't get the freaking thing. I'm sorry, this is so funny. I'm watching. No, I gotta get this.
Are you putting it in the right way?
No, it's this freaking sleeve. This is just like the difficulty of an NES game. Okay, got it.
Oh my gosh,
no problem.
That was painful.
So looking at this book, I saw Castlevania and stuff, and I was like, you know what? I have been dying to go through those old games, like to emulate those games and play or whatever. Because you know what? My first thing, I went to the freaking Nintendo Switch Online that we freaking pay for, and I was like, maybe it's on there. It's not on there, and I was like, they have Zelda and Mario, and then like 2 weird games,
Ninja Gaiden.
That
was fun.
I want them to put out 10 games a month. You know what I mean? Like, come on. I don't know. The library, I know over time will grow, and hopefully going forward, we're just going to they're not going to have to, Switch 2, I hope they don't have to put these games really
bothered
on.
By this.
I think from now on it'll be better, but it's like, man, so I've emulated all the, started with this Castlevania game, so I'm going to talk lightning round, because I've played so many Castlevania games. Ungodly amount of Castlevania games. So lightning round, here we go. Castlevania 1 on the NES. Fun. It's weird. You can't jump up and in modern 2D platformers, you're able to jump up and hit. Like jump up, turn to the other direction to hit. This is so rigid.
Beep.
It kind of, this is going to talk to all the NES ones. This kind of movement. So the movement's so rigid and whatever, it kind of kills it for me. But fun. For at that time, I think it was awesome. Like using your whip. You're going through whipping bats, having fun. Castlevania 2 sucks.
Yeah.
That one is the one where very fun. This is all I have to say about my experience with this game. I was laughing so hard reading. I was reading up on these games. Got Castlevania 2. Yeah, all the NPCs lie to you. There's a little town in this, and they all tell you misinformation. Like, if you go to this place and do this, you'll get that. And they're all lying. That's how they designed the game. They designed the game to give you, when games have a hint, do this, all of them are wrong. And they don't tell you they're all lying.
That's evil.
And so I played 20 minutes of the game, shut it off.
Wow.
Castlevania 3, they added characters you can get, additional characters that have different abilities. One guy climbs on the wall. Castlevania 3 was awesome. The best of the NES ones. Definitely. Had a good time with that. Castlevania 4. I played these all back to back on emulator. I could not stop playing Castlevania games. Super Castlevania 4 on the Super Nintendo. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So much freaking fun. You can finally hit in like all directions with the whip. So you're jumping through. The gameplay is so fluid. Like, you're hitting this, you're jumping up here, you're grabbing this. Graphics are awesome. The environment and kind of even like, it reminds me of Super Metroid. Like the kind of atmosphere is like very atmospheric. Definitely recommended. Castlevania Bloodlines on the Genesis. It's so funny. You're like this vampire hunter, but everything just seems extreme and like rad and like backwards baseball cap in that one. Like everything seems like Sega Genesis and like kind of like I'm a cool dude like kind of thing. But you're literally like this vampire hunter, but and this bulky one. They make him bulky and stuff. So it's so funny how they did that. But that one was fun. Then here's what happened. I was like, I have to put down these games. I'm going to keep going. So I played Castlevania, and I did a hangout of this, going back on like hangouts and stuff that we did. I did it for Castlevania N64, or Legacy of Darkness. The Legacy of Darkness. And that game sucks.
Yeah.
That game, the camera, you're fighting with the camera from beginning to end. It's kind of goofy, and that's all there is to it. Very skippable. Then I jumped to the GBA games. Now, did you ever hear about these games? Or you know the Castlevania games on
honestly,
GBA?
The only ones I ever knew about was the N64. I knew that the NES ones. I knew there was a Genesis one that I thought wasn't that good, if I remember correctly. And then I knew about the N64 one. Yeah. That's all I know.
Well, the GBA ones, I remember as a kid, I had a friend that was really into them. And I'd watch him play like on his Game Boy back then. But like, I remember them getting like the box art looking incredible. And I was just like, wow, the art looks cool, whatever. And I remember the reviews in the magazines. They would get great reviews. So Circle of the Moon is the first one. Came out in 2001. Very cool. That one kind of takes after Symphony of the Night, which I'd already played. That's why I didn't mention that one. But that one came out on PS1. And that one turned into, if you've ever heard the genre Metroidvania.
Yeah.
That's what started that with Symphony of the Night. Of like, you're kind of picking around the map, trying to find stuff. You ever played Metroid or whatever, stuff like that. Like, you're trying to pick around and you go in the map. Oh, I don't have the ability to open this up yet. So that's what these games in the GBA are these exploration games. And Circle of the Moon is just like that. Awesome music, great bosses, like crazy bosses like that you get to fight in 2D. Like, very fun what they're able to do with the graphics. Very hard, pretty difficult by the end. I had save states and stuff, so I use those a lot. I don't like to if I don't have to, but used it for that for sure. Harmony of Dissonance was the next. The music was just okay. It was a lot easier. The stories in these, I should say too, they start to have stories after the NES games. They are all Dracula's castle's back. Oh, you're a descendant of the Belmonts. Then you can defeat them with your whip. That is every single game. There has not been a good story Castlevania that I've played yet. And it's serviceable. It's just like Zelda or like those older Zelda. It's like, you gotta get Princess Zelda. You gotta defeat Ganondorf. But, so Harmony of Dissonance is more easy on the easy side. You flip between castles. You go like, they say, do you feel different? Yeah, I feel different in this castle because there's two sides of the castle fighting. This person's soul and this other person's soul. And the castle like changes. Like you can go in and out of these like different variations of the castle. It's pretty fun. Beat like yesterday or today, Aria of Sorrow, and that's the last one there. Awesome. That one was freaking cool. You can have different weapons. You can have a whip. You can have a hammer. You can utilize different weapons and stuff. I freaking loved Aria of Sorrow. So much so that I am in the middle of Dawn of Sorrow on the DS. I have not stopped playing.
You have a problem.
Castlevania games.
Yeah.
Because we've been I should say too, we've been snowed in.
Mm-hmm. Pretty bad.
And so I just sat down, and these didn't take long with the emulator because going back and forth between these like maps, it does take a while, but you get so strong. I hit the fast forward feature on the emulator, and I'm rushing through each like thing, and I'm actually beating these games that take 8 hours in 4 hours because I just speed up through them or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I'm having a blast doing it that way because I don't have the patience to do it otherwise. But I'm playing the DS one right now, and it is actually the first sequel in the whole Castlevania series. It's a sequel to that Aria of Sorrow, that last GBA game, but Castlevania, I'm addicted.
Yeah, you are.
And I don't know why. I felt like after I beat the GBA ones, I was like, I'm going to be done. But here I am playing. There's 3 DS ones. I don't know when I'm going to stop.
What's up with the DS ones?
They made one on the 3DS that people hate, and then they made 2. They made one on the 360 that people hate, and another on the 360 PS3 that people hate.
I mean, you guys gotta play it. You gotta play it though.
Oh, I'll play it.
Yeah.
And they did make 2 on the PS2, and I started the one on PS2, the first one, and I kind of fiddled out on that one.
You sissy.
Fizzled out on that one.
Play it.
It was okay, but I played a ton of Castlevania.
Yeah.
That's about it for that. We had one big game news,
which is this is kind of a big deal. Like
this is very big. Like for our group,
yeah,
and for what we talked about.
Bungie finally said frick it.
They did. They had a 10-year contract, and they probably went up to Activision and went rip.
Yeah, Pete all over it, man.
So for those that don't know, Bungie and Activision, they kind of teamed up to make the Destiny kind of series or whatever. And they were under like a 10-year contract. It was a big, big deal. Big deal for to make these games.
Bungie
to make
was going to help support some of the other games that Activision was going to push. They were going to kind of help sell it through their own websites and stuff. That's how we saw Call of Duty on Bungie's launch. What do you call it? Their not portal. What is it? Client.
Client.
Yeah, their launch client. Stuff like that. So Activision was kind of like
called. I forget. It's the Blizzard client.
Yeah, it's Blizzard, but it's something else. This was kind of a big deal because it was now we're getting extra brand recognition. We're getting pushed from people who play Destiny. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't really understand the specifics on why Bungie did this. Maybe you do. I'm not really sure.
I think that they went from Microsoft. They finally settled what they had under the contract they had to do. They had to make ODST and they made Reach to get out. We want out of making these Halo games or whatever. So they did that, and they were like, okay, now we're free. What are we going to do next? And I think they wanted a publisher. They were already used to having Microsoft kind of helping them financially. I think they just were like, let's team up again with somebody and let's make a whole new thing. Let's start fresh. And that's where Destiny 1 comes from. Yeah. Which we don't have to say a lot. You can go online and see a ton of stuff. A great Kotaku article talking about the troubled launch of Destiny 1. The trouble that I think if you played Destiny, you might have noticed, Destiny 1 in particular. But, so the other day, they announced they are splitting up with Activision, and they will now own all of the rights, everything to Destiny to continue the series.
Which is exciting.
Which is very exciting because I don't know how much of it was Activision, how much of it was Bungie, whatever, but I think this will give them more control because before it was you have to have this out by this date. And they kept pushing there was kind of that, but now there won't be that pressure. No. They'll be we're going to get it out when it's right, what we feel is right or whatever. So they'll have that. I think it's...
And if you guys obviously you guys know Destiny was really successful. As much as Destiny 1 got crapped on, and I love Destiny 2. I don't have a single problem with that. I just don't want to play it anymore. It was a good game. I am excited to see the team that we've come to fall in love with and then now hate, but still wish for the old memories to come back. Yeah. Get a shot at maybe Destiny 2 DLC or even the future Destiny series. Yeah. I think it's good news. Yeah. It also might expose them for who they really are. If we're being honest.
They might. Nothing might change. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
You go, it means
wow,
nothing.
Bungie really sucked the whole time.
Yeah. But I think that's really cool. My wish, if I had all the money in the world and I had control of Bungie, I would legit reboot the whole thing. I would just go Destiny Omega. And so what's Destiny Omega? We reboot the whole thing. Destiny 1 and 2 never happened. And they just write it off the book.
It's kind of like Dragon Ball Z did with Broly.
Yeah. And they just start the foundation. They start the foundation whole, all over again. But I know they might not do that. But we'll have to see how it goes now. But
I'm very curious. Again...
And I feel like Destiny 2 was fun for you guys. Yeah. You guys played a lot. But I think story and the way they've handled DLC and people get mad and they get happy again and then mad... I feel like it's just up and down with that whole series.
Activision definitely had a hand in a lot of things. Yeah. I don't see a company wanting to go... Actually, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth here. I just want to see what they're gonna do. Let's just see what they're gonna do.
Hopefully you can play 4-player.
Yeah, hopefully you can play more than just
that would be a cool feature. Maybe Bungie, if you're watching right now, please add 4-player. Do what Halo 3 did in 2007.
Make it work.
So yeah, that was kind of a big thing. TV is back on.
Yeah. Snowed in. You gotta do something different. Can't go outside.
You gotta watch something. So what did I watch? I basically played a TV show.
Yeah.
Black Mirror, the episode Bandersnatch came out.
I'm surprised you played this.
On Netflix. This was a choose your own adventure episode of Black Mirror. So
I've never heard of this.
Black Mirror is a show that's like the Twilight Zone with technology. It kind of goes down dark, paths of like, here's what could happen with technology if ... and it shows you in the episode. Each episode's its own standalone cast and stuff.
Yeah.
It's very, it can get kind of dark. But Bandersnatch was this kind of standalone kind of thing that they did where you use your remote and you choose like what you want to do. Like, do you want to do this choice or whatever? And I saw a lot of people crapping on this, and I think they totally miss part of the point on this completely, because they're always trying to commentate on like technology or whatever. And one thing about this, I thought it was cool that this worked with Netflix. You know what I mean? Like, they put support in this to the point where I was like, are other things going to try to do this? They had to build something specifically to work with Netflix. I was like doing it on their on their service, but you play, or like the whole thing, you're like this guy. You aren't this guy, but you're choosing it for it. But like this guy who's like making a video game, and it's one of those point and click choose your own adventure kind of games. But this guy, like, he meets this other developer. He knows about him, and it starts to go down this path of like this guy like knows some stuff, and maybe there's some like choose your own adventure stuff in the real world. Like, there's like different reality. It gets pretty whatever, but I had fun with it, and kind of the spoiler alert for those maybe that didn't see it, but a lot of the commentary, I'll just say like kind of the commentary of the episode, I was like, the reviews, I saw people say like, whatever you chose, like there wasn't really a lot of choice in the thing, and that episode was showing you just that, like. What choices can you make? There was also one I was laughing out loud I love this in like those old, even the Super Seducer games that we play, like choosing the crazy option and seeing the most cringeworthy or crazy option you get to choose. They have one moment like that in this that like goes nuts, and I love that stuff. I'm a sucker for it. So I would say sit down with a group and just play this. Like, check it out. It commentates on that, like, there's not really a lot of choice that you have here. But, everything Black Mirror I've liked that they put out. But, watched that. What did you watch anything?
I did watch... So, if you guys know, I think like 3 or 4 months ago, I watched One Punch Man when the sub was out. And I loved it. I think that's actually, like, one of my, like, favorite animes ever. It's so polished, it's so clean, it is absolutely hysterical.
Well, the new season's coming out.
The new season, they announced their season 2, which is stinking awesome. But also that, I found the dub. There's a dub of One Punch Man.
Oh, okay.
And the only thing I can walk away from with the dub is that I actually like Sataman's voice way better in the dub than I do in the sub.
Yeah.
I like everyone else's voices more in the sub. Because, like, Genesis' voice is awful in dub. It's so bad. Like it's bad.
Yeah.
It's like, laughable bad. But, oh, man, I just...
Yeah, I only watched the sub. I only watched the sub.
Did you watch One Punch Man, though?
Yeah.
So did you like it?
Yeah, I didn't, like, fall in love with it, but there was certain parts I would laugh really hard. Like, I just thought it was just really cool, certain things I did. It's a funny concept, and I'll definitely check out season 2.
Yeah, have you seen it?
I haven't.
It's on Netflix. It's 10. It's all it is. It's 10 episodes.
Yeah, it's
30
short.
minutes long. It's short, and
the animation's great.
The ending when you get to the end of the season, you gotta watch it.
Yeah, the animation's great. It's a good time.
I think you'd really enjoy it. I think you'd sit down and be like, "This is actually really worth it."
I'll have to. So should I watch it subbed or dubbed?
I watch it subbed.
Subbed.
Yeah, I would watch it subbed.
See, the weird thing about watching anime, like, I watched Kill la Kill.
Yeah.
I watched that subbed. Tried to watch it again dubbed. Hated it. I watched Gurren Lagann dubbed. Tried to watch it subbed. Hated it. So I think it's whatever you watch first.
Whatever you watch first, I think people hold on to.
Yeah.
You grow.
Because that's how I am with the Evangelion dub. People crap on that more than anything in anime. The dub they think is terrible. But that was the first time I watched through it, and I kind of really liked the voices.
That one's the only one that I'm indifferent, because we've watched, we watched 3.0 sub the first time, and I was okay with it. Mm-hmm. I can hear the voices of the characters both dubbed and subbed in my head, and if I'm thinking of
have that ability.
If I'm thinking of what does Rey sound like I can hear what she sounds like in both languages, and I'm indifferent as to which one I prefer. Yeah. So, I think that one's that's an outlier for me. I recently watched it all subbed, they have the HD kind of thing that they did. Remaster of the old episodes, the old series, and I watched it all subbed. And, I still had that affinity for the dub that is bad that people say. One thing I didn't know was that the dub of the original series is some things are just incorrect. And recently it was announced that Netflix is putting out Evangelion dubbed, which is ginormous, because the only way to watch Evangelion is one show, definitely just pirate it, because to get it to watch it is to watch the old version on DVD. That's on 480p is as high as you could. What? I have
to get it legally. And the thing is, they don't sell it. You have to get off eBay, so it's not even going to the creators.
Oh gosh.
So it's always been it's been in limbo and copyright hell and rights hell for years, for decades and stuff, because there was a dispute or whatever. Netflix basically bought the rights to Evangelion.
Nice.
They own the rights. So
Netflix has a nice little anime collection.
They do. So now that they have Evangelion, that was huge. So that's going to be awesome. Yeah. So what people are saying is, I think they're redoing the dub for the Netflix thing. I'm pretty sure, which is good, I guess, because people were talking there, the things in the dub and the Evangelion are just wrong. Certain things they say about the lore is incorrect. Yeah. They fricked it up, some of it. And I was I didn't know that.
It all depends on who you get to actually do the dub, too. When it comes over.
Well, I guess they did some other series and they did really good. So I think they'll handle it pretty well. So, and I think it's all the original people that didn't they
remaster it, or aren't they remastering it and putting it out on Blu-ray in the dub? Or was that sub?
They already did that in Japan, but the Japan version, even if you imported it, did not have English dub or sub.
Ah!
So it's that was thing. So what people did, I pirated it. Because there was no freaking better way to get it, and I pirated it and got the
subtitles.
The subtitles kind of version,
like a DLC.
Yeah,
patch.
I got the DLC patch.
God,
but it's
things we do to watch anime.
I want to give them. I have bought the Lost Blu-ray set, the Breaking Bad. I love to own and pay, and I want to get that stuff. I don't want to have to pirate that stuff. I want to own that stuff. I want a copy, stuff I really like. So it's Evangelion, when it came out, that Blu-ray thing, it was this cool set, this nice looking set, and I was like, oh, please give it to me. And it's I would have imported that easily if it had that. Yeah, and it did. Why did you not do that? It was money on the table.
Hey, I got all the DVDs.
Yeah, you do.
I really do, actually. I have every one.
But that's really the only way, but it's hard to get them. And you have to go on eBay, you have to go elsewhere to get them. But
I did watch another show.
Other than Scrubs.
I jumped off the Scrubs train. I watched it 4 other... By the way, guys, I have a problem.
I have a Castlevania problems. What do you
I watched that 4 more times. All the way through. I just fall asleep to it. I know what happens, so I can just pick up on the episode I fell asleep to.
You almost put it in the background. I would that's half watching and half you're used to it.
I'm just used to it. I can quote it and I can live it. And I did Scrubs trivia at work and I got all the answers right.
Yeah, because you watch it 30 times.
I know.
How many times have you gone from beginning to end of the show?
6 or 7, maybe.
Wow.
Glenn Matthews. That's the janitor's name. That, by the way. His wife's name is Lady.
I was kind of lost. I was like, who's Glenn Matthews?
Well, throughout the whole thing, all they do is call him the janitor.
Yeah.
Until one point at the very end, once they say his name. is actually Win Master.
So what else have you?
I started New Girl. Have you seen New Girl?
No.
Have you seen New Girl?
This doesn't seem like a show.
Hey, it is hysterical. It's so funny. The reason why I love it so much is because it's so stinging awkward. And it's like, it's about a girl who gets cheated on by her boyfriend, alright? And she moves out, and she moves in with 3 guys in this loft. And it's just, I don't know, it's funny. Prince just showed up on it, like before he died.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's really cool. You know, it's just, I can't explain. Do you like awkward moments?
I do like awkward moments.
Like, I think you'd get a kick out of this, because the way that she comes off as a person, she's like, loves life, everything's really like funny, but she's just so awkward, and it makes no sense, and everything she does is extremely just weird. And I don't know, I find it hilarious. I really think, like, I don't know if you'd like it.
It's sounding like the same premise as something like How I Met Your Mother, which I could not, and Big Bang Theory, things like that.
I don't like, no, not like Big Bang. It's not like a sitcom. I wouldn't.
It sounds like a sitcom.
No, it's not. It's definitely not a sitcom. It's a show that has like a story, has a plot, and it's trying to achieve. It has 6 seasons. I mean, it was really good. I'm actually
Is it still going?
No, it's done. It ended it. They actually got to do a series finale. They actually got to finish the show. I just enjoy it. I enjoy comedies that have a story.
How do you pick these shows? How do you get...
This one got recommended to me.
Okay.
So I kind of like had to...
How'd you find Scrubs?
How did I find Scrubs? Watched it on Comedy Central.
Yeah, that's how I found it.
I found Scrubs on Comedy Central. This one was being recommended to me. I picked up like the 100 and I tried watching it. It's like Lost but on space crack. And
I'd heard that. I had actually heard that. Like, it was similar to like...
I stumbled into a weird show once called The Expanse on... I want to say it was on Amazon, and I was too lazy one night to get up and change something. So I was like, what's on Amazon Video or something? And I watched the first season. It was strange, but it is weird how you stumble into TV shows. Sometimes.
I like shows, if you guys want to know something about me, I like shows that have really strong character development. To where I can like really enjoy the characters and get behind them and get behind the story they're trying to tell. So the reason I like New Girl is because they do a good job developing their characters. It's still funny, it's still goofy, but I like the characters a lot. The 100, I keep looking up there because you have your Lost figure up there. I instantly felt lost right away without character development. And
sounds awful.
Sounds terrible.
It's terrible. But my biggest pet peeve is I like comedic relief. In Lost, they had moments when there was small comedic relief.
Yeah.
It's not always tense, which is good. I can't do that.
Yeah.
That's stressful. It's like going to work. I don't want to go to work when I watch a TV show.
Yeah.
It's like playing Mass Effect Andromeda again.
It's just like Mass Effect.
Resident Evil 2.
So, when I started watching the 100, I got through like a season and a half, and I just was like, I am so worked up because they will not slow down. They have the pedal to the metal.
Yeah. And you have to have comedic relief.
It's like drama after drama, person having sex, drama, sex. And I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I'm done. I literally put it down. I was like, this is not a show that's worth watching. So, little tidbit about me. I like comedic relief in my shows. So, that's what I've been watching. I've watched more TV than I have in my life. Wow. It's kind of weird. Not going to lie to you.
Wow. I'm glad, because remember last year you watched zero TV.
I watched Scrubs.
So now you're nuts. You're TV nuts. So I'm happy to hear that. Cool. Me and my wife have been going through Sopranos. I think I talked about last time.
Yeah.
I saw it once previously. It was my second time. Second time through, man, because I remember the first time through, I was like, there's not one bad episode in this entire show. Mm-hmm. It is consistent. It is the most consistent show, more than Lost, more than I don't know, Evangelion only has 26 episodes, so it's pretty consistent. But like more than Lost, more than like Breaking Bad, this is the most consistent show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
This and The Leftovers. And I feel that same way the second time. I'm like, each episode is like, has all of these like layers to it, and like characters and stuff that they're like talking about is all like leads back to a character or Tony Soprano. Like they're talking about something deeper. There's a deeper on every episode. There's almost every episode. There's something under the surface they're trying to commentate on and like try and talk
something
about.
Else is happening.
And it's like, wow, man. The second time through, I'm noticing that stuff more than I did the first time, and I'm really liking it a lot. To the point where I need to actually probably rewatch Breaking Bad.
Oh god.
Because Breaking Bad's my third favorite show, and I actually put it above Sopranos by a smidge. Right now, Sopranos actually might be above Breaking Bad for me, but I need to go back and watch, because Breaking Bad absolutely has not many, but moments where you're just like, frick, like, I don't care about spoiler alert, Hank's Rock Collection. Mm-hmm. Like it dips into that, and it's like, frick it, like. But Sopranos doesn't have any of that whatsoever, so I'm gonna maybe watch Breaking Bad next to kind of like, you know, fresh eyes, and go through Breaking Bad twice and see what I think about that. But yeah, Sopranos still good, and I watched. There's 3 episodes out right now that I've seen of True Detective season 3. So True Detective is each series or season so far has been a different cast and a different like scenario, with these detectives like going and like trying to solve this case. Or actually, like the first, I can't remember if the second season was like this, but first season and this third season is all like they're actually looking back at an old case. Like they're kind of older. The detectives are older. The actors, they make them look older and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they're going back in time. Like, oh, this is when this case happened. Season 1 was extremely, extremely disturbing, and like it's like going back and you're trying to see like they're tracking this person. They're trying to track like what happened to these kids, what happened to this, or like this kid got abducted, this happened or whatever. Great acting, incredible atmosphere. Season 2 gets crapped on a lot. It has Colin Farrell in it.
Yeah.
And it was more, that darkness wasn't there, and I still enjoyed it, and there was still some cool stuff in that. Season 3 brings back the freaking creepiness. Remember when I said when I was playing that VR, and I went, Siri, turn on the lights. I did that. I was watching the show alone in the dark.
Like, Siri, now.
And it just has this foreboding, like, music and sound and audio. Like, everything, like, what happens in this season is 2 kids go missing. And they're trying to find out, like, who has these kids or whatever, what happened to these kids. And they're tracking them down. Well, this one guy gets really, I forgot the name of the actor's name, the main actor's name, whatever, but it's these 2 detectives, and he's like, I can't stop till I find them, whatever. He's like, I'm going back out again. And he goes back out, and, like, this music is very creepy, and he has, like, his flashlight, and he's literally going into like these woods areas at night, and like this kind of like out in the country and stuff with this flashlight, and I'm like, Siri, turn on the lights. Like, I was just like, I can't handle this right now, but it is so creepy of an atmosphere. Loving it. Loving True Detective season 3. Great so far. Having a good time with it. And that's it for TV for me.
Yeah.
Did you watch anything on TV? Are you watching? You're not.
Couple episodes.
Leftovers soon.
Seinfeld here and there.
Oh,
Leftovers is something I want to get into.
Yeah. That'll take you a little time to get through. It's 30 episodes.
Sure,
that's
totally,
it.
Yeah.
It's just hard to. Resident Evil, Kingdom Hearts is coming out there, and I have games on. I still haven't played Moss. I bought Moss like 3 weeks ago.
Have Moss on the VR, and then have Leftovers in the background. Yeah. Just listen to it.
I'm planning on beating Resident Evil 2, at least one of the campaigns, in the next couple of days, so I can get ready. I have to play the Point 2 before Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Like the little prequel or whatever.
Yeah,
I have to play that.
Like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's coming out.
So TV's been on the back burner for me.
I need to play 1 and 2 before I do anything with Kingdom Hearts. I bought it and I haven't played it.
Travis has taken probably the approach I think everyone should. He's just playing 3. He's watching a recap on YouTube, and then he's going into 3.
Dang it!
I really I do. If you did have the time, if you didn't care, I think 1 and 2 and Birth by Sleep are fun. I think everything else is skippable, honestly. But I like those 3 games. But that being said, I did watch 1 movie.
Me too.
I watched Fire on Netflix, and this was the It was the documentary about. Do you remember this?
Yes.
The Fire Festival.
I could never forget waking up to you sending this in the
group my gosh, yeah! In the group chat, we were going.
I thought it was a joke.
When this happened, it was absolutely unbelievable because you would just see the memes were hilarious for 1. 2, you couldn't believe what was happening. Like, it just kept getting worse. It was like, oh, this is happening. Oh, this has turned into Lord of the Flies. So for those that don't know,
it did turn into Lord of the Flies.
This was very recent. This was 2017, I believe. But there was a festival put on by this entrepreneur or whatever.
Bought an island.
Bought this island to put on this music festival. But when people got there, all these like rich kids, these like influencers or whatever, get there, it turns into Lord of the Flies, and everything they were promised is not there. And people are stealing stuff from people's tents. They were promised they were going to be houses.
It's pouring rain. There's mattresses out there, and people are stealing mattresses.
It was insanity, and people were they didn't where was the food or whatever. They had to get off this island. They were stuck on this island, and they paid $10,000 to get there. So Netflix put out a documentary about this, kind of looking behind, what happened with all this. This was nuts. And what's even more nuts, I won't talk a lot about because I didn't see the other one, but this came out, the Netflix put out a documentary and Hulu at the same time. Hulu has their own Fire Festival documentary, and it's different. But after hearing both sides, people watch both of them, and they're just watch the Netflix one. It's all you need. But the Netflix one goes into leading up to what happened in the planning to get how did they get to this point? How did it get to here? And I don't want to spoil it because, one thing I will say that was interesting I didn't know was how did Ja Rule get involved in this? Because Ja Rule was pretty involved in this, in funding all this. So what had happened was, it was interesting. They did this tech conference, they showed footage from it, but the main owner of this fire company or whatever, he said that he was trying to book Ja Rule himself for a gig for this party he was throwing for people at his company or whatever else, and because he had owned another business or whatever, but he tried to get Ja Rule, and he's I met this guy, his name was Ricky online or something, and he said, if you give me $500, I'll get you Ja Rule connected and see if you whatever. I was then connected from Ricky to some guy named Tommy, and I never got to talk to Ja Rule, you know what I mean? It was hard to get to so Fire actually was a cool concept. Fire was he was wanting to make a website, and Ja Rule, he actually reached Ja Rule, and then they talked and had a good meeting of hey, what if we built something that was Uber for the booking process? You could go online, and if you did want to book an event or a birthday party or just throw a party in the city or whatever, you could book these different guys, these different musical artists or these different comedians, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it would all be on the site, and it would be a direct connection to those people instead of having to go down these shady avenues. Good idea. And the team was pumped, and they had a great team making this stuff, and it was wow, this is gonna this is a good concept. Ja Rule's funding or whatever. To advertise this, that's when the Fire Festival came up. And that's when this guy, the owner of this or whatever, is let's do this Fire Festival. But it gets to the point where this guy, they say in the documentary, they're we don't know if this guy is literally a psychopath or he's the smartest guy in the room. We did not know, you know what I mean? You couldn't tell. But the stuff and the hell that they put these people through, it's awful. It's very bad. I do get some glee, some satisfaction out of these rich trust fund kids getting tricked and put on this island.
Yeah,
is still very funny.
Yeah,
but it gets whoa. There's one part in this thing because they really put everybody through the ringer. There's one that, as it was showing me talking about this incident, you will not believe when it gets to it. I was flabbergasted. What happened? I'm watching it and I'm oh, they don't mean that. What? I was in shock. What had happened with one of these employees or whatever. But yeah, highly recommend. It's an hour and a half or whatever. You'll have a good time kind of looking behind the scenes on this. Then they follow up after the words towards the end or whatever. What's this guy doing now? What's this Billy or whatever his name was? Because he might be facing prison. For this.
Jail.
Yeah, because he really screwed a lot of people over in this, and you could see it in the documentary. But very interesting where he's at now and what he was doing at the end of this documentary too.
Living the good life.
So yeah, Fire, very cool. Yeah.
I had
watch?
The privilege of capping off the greatest anime ever of Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Super, Broly.
Oh yeah,
hit theaters.
You liked it?
I mean, not only did they bring Broly back from the cesspool they created, they made him awesome. I mean, way better. Because when did you watch the first movie when Broly came out?
No,
Dragon Ball Z?
I didn't.
Did you? So Broly was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But his story sucked.
That's what I heard.
It was so bad. He's I hate Kakarot because Kakarot cried. Kakarot. And then I was just like,
that's it?
So dumb. Like, it's so dumb. You're telling me the most legendary Super Saiyan in the world hates a baby because he cried.
Yeah.
Frick you, man. So, Dragon Ball Super said, you know what? Screw it. It's not canon. I like how they're able to do that. GT, not canon. Broly's movies, not canon. There was 3 of them. Not canon.
Not
right? Dragon Ball Super Broly, canon. So, they bring up the story of Broly and why he's the way he is, and it talks about like Paragus and like the Planet Vegeta and Frieza taking over really early. Shows one of the coolest fight scenes.
I heard it's all. I heard there's some cool stuff in this movie.
Oh my!
Which makes me want to rewatch. I would have to go back and rewatch.
You gotta watch Super.
I asked this question 80 times because I have to keep remembering. Super is the one it's the abridged version of Z, right?
No.
Which one's the abridged version of Z?
Dragon Ball Z abridged.
But
Dragon Ball Z Kai.
Z Kai, okay.
Well, there's no Kai.
The abridged,
there's which is abridges
the abridged
series.
Is the people that make fun of,
which is hysterical, by the way.
It's
funny. You haven't watched it. It's awesome.
I know that. Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z Kai. So Dragon Ball Super is the sequel to
Dragon Ball Z Kai.
You watched up to what?
The Boo?
Where'd you stop?
Saga?
You watched the Cell, right?
I watched Cell and I watched Frieza.
So Majin Buu Saga happens, and then
I didn't watch
Dragon Ball Super's immediately after.
I would almost challenge you with this. If you could watch Buu and then Super, I'd watch Leftovers.
Oh wow!
And I've told you for years I'm not watching that.
Watch Kai though for the Buu.
Because, watch Kai for Buu.
Buu is the
king of filler.
It's the king of filler, man.
I think that's why I didn't watch even as a kid. I don't know if it even came to Cartoon Network at that time.
It did.
I think I kind of fell out from it.
I didn't like Buu very much. I honestly skipped a good chunk of the middle of the Buu.
Yeah, Boo's pretty rough.
But getting back on the movie, you like the movie.
The movie, the fight scene was amazing. The only part where I was just kind of like, I don't really like this. It went kind of Dragon Ball FighterZ Z-esque, the game.
Oh.
The animation style did. It went 3D.
Oh, that's weird. Oh, they had a CGI there.
Yeah, and I was like, oh God, that's happening.
Yeah.
Oh God, what's going on? And I just kept saying like, oh God, like over and over again. Because I was just so like...
And that could work if it's done well, but I think...
And it was done well. It just was like...
It just kind of took you out of it?
It's just like, I was just so drawn back. But, I mean, man.
Pretty cool.
Redemption for Broly.
Broly, redeemed.
I'm excited because if they continue the Super Saga, what they can do with Broly's endless now.
That's cool. I've heard Super is really awesome.
Man, it is.
And that's crazy. Nice. I feel like more people should be talking about it because it's a sequel to Z that people grew up with. And I know you haven't finished Z. I think you watched most of it.
I'm waiting on Super to be dubbed.
Super is dubbed.
Not all of it.
No, but it's at the very end. But so I guarantee you by the time you got to the point...
Are you watching dubbed or subbed?
I watched subbed. I'm rewatching it dubbed. And subbed was fine. I mean, subbed was just... great, and then dubbed is...
I'm just waiting for it to be complete because I don't want to have to do what I did with Naruto, where I watched 9 or almost all of it dubbed
9
until
episodes.
I ran out of it, and then I had to watch subbed, and I was fine with that, which was awesome. And then I ran out of subbed. They were still releasing new episodes, and I was like, I'm so close to the end of this, and I'm so ready to be done because it's like 500 episodes.
Yeah.
And
you're on a roll.
He bought the game, and the game came out and finished the story
before the
show ended. So I beat the game and got the ending of the show from the game.
I cried,
and it was great. And eventually, maybe I'll go back and watch the ending. I don't want that to happen with Super. I want to watch it all.
Yeah.
I don't have to be sit down and binge it.
Dragon Fighter Z to
I don't have to get Fighter Z and beat it and pay for DLC to find out.
I wish you would. I really would. I honestly, I love that kind of stuff, and I love Dragon Ball, and that's like one of my all-time favorite shows. So.
Oh, for me too. I grew up on that.
But the movie was phenomenal. I mean, really, really good movie.
Yeah. So I believe that is our podcast. So thank you for watching.
We're done here.
The shutdown is over, so we're back to work. We've got some cool things in the mix coming out soon.
I hear mixing.
We have the big secret super project. Very, very close to being able to talk about that.
Super close.
We will let you know when that is coming, but our lips will stay sealed. But I will say keep your eyes peeled. It's very soon.
I'm excited.
It's very soon. So, thanks for watching. Check out DweeBoYT on Twitter. Follow us on there. You'll know when a video's coming out, when we're going live with the Hangouts, podcasts, all that good stuff. DweeBoYT. And thanks for watching. And check out the Hangouts. We're going to be doing some more Hangouts. Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out. I'm very excited for that. That's the intro. Kingdom Hearts 3. So we're doing that. Very excited about that. So we'll be doing some Hangouts games. Resident Evil coming soon. All that good stuff. Maybe some surprises too. Thanks for watching. Hasta la vista. Guess the movie.
Baby.
Sopranos. The movie.